Okay. All right, we have a good day now. Welcome back to the Wake Up Call. It's 60 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. We still have on the inside with us ASP Simmons, but we're going to be talking about something different now. He is also the head of the Public Relations and Complaints Department. Want me to repeat that? Public Relations and Complaints Department. First question, right? What is the purpose of the public relations? I don't know if you want to separate the public relations and the complaints, or if you want to give me the definition or the purpose of the entire department. Folks, which one? What is the purpose of public relations? And then what is the purpose of complaints?
Yes. Well, thanks, Crystal. There's one department, public relations and complaints. Right, one department at this time. Okay. But we execute two different functions. Mm-hmm. So one is public relations, and that is geared towards improving the image of the police force. As an organization, it's important that we have a very good standing and good image, in the eyes of the public. So our purpose at public relations is also to interact with the public, mm-hmm. because the police cannot operate in isolation or in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, Mr. Robert Peel, he is known as the father of modern policing. He was an English commissioner of police. He said that the police are the public and the public are the police. Mm-hmm. So it means, therefore, that we have to work hand in hand with the public to achieve our mission. Mm-hmm. So as a department, we forge relationships with communities, with organizations, whether it's a faith-based, a church, a community group, a social group, mm-hmm. and we work together. We advise them on, matters that they can take to increase and improve their personal security, also security in the community at large. And we also use several of our departments. For example, the police band. We have annual police band summer programs, but due to COVID, we had to scale back.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's a very popular program for young people and parents as well, where young people are given the opportunity to learn to play a musical instrument free of charge. And these persons go on to be accomplished musicians, later on in life. We also have the Coast Guard Summer Program, another popular program again, where persons are learn swimming skills, life-saving skills as well. And we also have the police youth clubs.
Right. I haven't heard about the police youth clubs in a while. Is it COVID again?
COVID again. Okay. COVID again. At present, we have over 25 active police youth clubs throughout Simmons and the Grenadines.
Active and fully functioning?
Yes. Okay. But because of COVID again, we weren't able to meet as often, mm-hmm. as we would have liked to. But we start our activism again now that it's sort of improving. Situation is improving, and every year we have one massive police youth club camp somewhere on the mainland or in the Grenadines, where all of these clubs come together to exchange ideas and so forth. So those are some of the things that we use.
Pan Against Crime is another one?
Pan Against Crime. Yes, Pan Against Crime.
You forget about Steel Pan there,
Pan Against Crime, yes. And we had our last Pan Against Crime concert, I think probably about what 2 years ago,
2019.
2019. Yes, in Vermont.
Vermont, yes, I was there.
You were there as well. Yes,
Yeah.
you were there as well. Right. So,
Yes, I
but
was
because
there.
of COVID again, we had to scale back. But we're hoping to resume all of those activities very, very, very soon. But it's important that the police and the public work together. That is one of the goals of Commissioner John. He truly believes in that, and that is why he always on radio programs trying to interact with the public, at other events, because we cannot do it by ourselves. It cannot be the police and them,
Right.
or police against them.
Right.
It has to be us.
Right.
We think.
We think
together.
As you know, we have a problem there with that we think. Right. So you spoke about the public relations aspect of the public relations and complaints department.
Yes.
Now, what is the purpose of the complaints department?
Right. So this part is the trickier part. The complaints department, we primarily deal with complaints made by the public against police officers. Now, our job as police officers can be confrontational at times. However, we are trained to deal with confrontation. We are trained to de-escalate situations. But sometimes things don't always go the way they ought to have gone, or how they were planned.
Mm-hmm.
And things go wrong. Someone may get injured or assaulted, or vice versa. Because on many occasions, police officers also get injured and assaulted as well.
Mm-hmm.
But however, once a member of the public is aggrieved by the police
Mm-hmm.
in any way, any form or fashion, it is their right to make a complaint against that police officer, no matter the rank of the police officer, no matter
Lowest to highest.
no matter the gender. It is that person's right to make a complaint against the police officer, and it is the duty of the Public Relations and Complaints Department to professionally, without any bias, investigate that complaint or report.
Okay. So the public relations and the complaints conflicting a bit, because if I have a grievance with a police officer, I go to a department to deal with that. But that's the same department that is trying to uphold a good image of the
Yes.
same Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Why are they together? That's a horrible relationship. Why are they together? Whose idea was that?
Well, the department was established in 1997. So it has been that way since 1997. Now, Crystal, I would agree with you, and other persons have commented on it as well, even Commissioner John. It is really an oxymoron, I would say, when you have public relations and complaints together. Because on one hand, our role is to improve the image of the police force, foster better relation between the police and the public. And on the other hand, we have to deal with complaints against police officers made by members of the public.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think, and it is not just me, but even my predecessors, going back to Superintendent Davis, retired Superintendent Artist Davis, I'd recommended that both departments should be separated. I believe that if that is done, we'll be more effective just doing PR on one hand and dealing with complaints on the other hand. But I have some good news for you and for the listening audience, because Commissioner of Police, Mr. Colin John, he commissioned uh, a group of officers to conduct some reforms in the police force. And one of those reforms is to separate the public relations from the complaints department.
After 25 years.
Well, it's never too late. It's never too late. But we are moving towards that goal. I cannot tell you exactly when that will be finalized, but that is
Sometime.
in train right now.
Okay.
It's in train right now.
So whosoever's in charge, make haste, please and thank you. 25 years overdue. When you read comments on social media about possible cases of police brutality, you get the impression that Vincentians do not trust the police. How do you go about rectifying that trust? I know you said you have programs in place, but once something comes up, somebody makes a complaint, it gets to the media off the bat. You don't trust the police.
Yeah.
Does that make the job harder?
It does, and regrettably, that has been with us from time immemorial. Societies operate better when law enforcement and ordinary civilians work together. I understand the feeling of some persons that they cannot trust the police. I understand that. The police force understands that. Because of certain situation or encounters that they may have had with police officers. But you have to trust the police.
Have to?
Because without the police,
or should.
Without the police, what? What is the alternative? What is the alternative? The current system that we have in place is that police officers deal with complaints against police officers. That is not.
That sounds like a conflict of interest.
That is not the best recipe. We agree with that.
Because they say police don't turn against police. That's what people say.
Well, that's what they say. No, but from our end, from the complaints department end, we investigate all matters fairly, without bias, and let the chip fall where they may. If the police officer is found wanting, or if there's information or evidence there shows that the police officer is culpable, then the relevant recommendation would be made to the Deputy Commissioner of Police and the Commissioner, and they would take the necessary action against the police officers.
What are some of those actions?
Well, if a police officer if there's evidence against a police officer that they would have breached their code of conduct while performing their duties, whether by assaulting someone unlawfully and so forth, that police officer can be charged criminally. And it happened before. Because whenever we investigate certain matters, they are sent on to the DPP's office for advice. So that person can be charged criminally and taken to open court and prosecuted. Also, that officer can be charged what we call disciplinary internally by the Commissioner of Police, and you can be fined if you're found guilty, maximum of $750 fine. You can also be reduced
$750
in rank. No. That's a maximum on each charge. So if you receive one charge, then that's the maximum, right? On one charge. But let's say if you receive 3 charges, then that's $750 by 3.
Okay.
All right. You can also receive a reduction in your rank as well, based on the severity of the of the offense.
What if you're the lowest rank?
If you're
Out?
constable, well, the last one that I want to mention is that you can be dismissed from the police force as well.
That has to be very serious
You
for you
can
to
be
be
terminated.
dismissed.
Yes, you can be terminated from the police force if you're convicted for certain offenses.
Okay. So at this time, right, I want to bring in some responses from the listening audience, whether it's via Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, as well as our WhatsApp. All right. Our WhatsApp number is 4301043. If you have a question for ASP Simmons concerning public relations or complaints. Something just through my head while you were speaking before I get to the comments. Sorry about that. If an officer is found guilty, and this is probably one of the best reasons why they should be separate, public relations and complaints. If an officer is found guilty of an offense, right, and he is punished internally, but that offense was made public, so the entire public knows of the possible case of, let's say, police brutality. What if he's guilty and then he's dealt with internally? Does that internal matter, or the resolution to that matter, is it shared with the public so the public could know, okay, this is what happened and this is what happened to that officer?
Yeah.
Does it
Yes. Well, first and foremost,
same department.
Every allegation that we investigate at the department, the result is communicated to the person who made the complaint. So if you made a complaint against a police officer, and upon the conclusion of the investigation, we will inform you of the results, whether or not if the officer was found culpable and what action was taken against him, or if the allegation was found to be futile, because not all allegations that are made by the public really carries any weight. You have to have the evidence and information in order to come up with a conviction, just like in any other crime,
right?
So.
But I'm just wondering, do you come out in the same vein and try to, the public relations side of it?
Right.
Do you come out because it's in the public domain? Because everybody now knows and everybody's involved.
Right.
And some of these things could lead to people losing trust for the police. And if trust is, or working on the trust between civilians and police officers, if that is one of your main objectives, do you come out to the public, even though maybe you're not obligated to, but do you come out and say, this is how this matter was resolved? All right. So, for intentions, you can be assured that it was dealt with, even though it's something that's between one person or two people. That's what I wanted to get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the practice that I met when I came to the department, but certainly it's something that we can look at, as we move forward, as a transition, from complaints and public relations complaints to public relations separate and complaints separate.
Right. Yes. Okay, so response from the listeners. Let's just go to the WhatsApp first. Crystal Tell, good morning. Thanks to him and his team for the work they're doing to protect our women and children. Oh, this was from earlier. Okay, let me leave this one for the end, right? Complaining to that complaints department is like telling Vinlek about your high electricity bill. Let me see which one is which.
Is that one there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So,
while I go through the other comments, you can go ahead and ask the question.
Okay. Remember you said that if there's a police against if there's a complaint against a police officer, right?
Yes.
What would be the right procedure to go through, as in the avenues, like how do you go about making the complaint?
Okay, great. Yeah, great question. Well, you can make a complaint against a police officer in many different ways. You can come into the office. We are located at Central Police Station, and you can make your complaint there. An officer would sit you down, interview you, record a statement from you, and thereafter we commence our investigations. You can also send an email to the department, relations.complaint@gmail.com, and that would also trigger an investigation as well. You can also contact us via Facebook, or social media pages.
Okay, so what would be the response time for those?
Well, it based on the type of allegation that you're making. There isn't a definite response time in terms of completing the investigation. It depends on the nature.
As in like just acknowledging that the complaint was received. Now that's what I mean.
Well, immediately.
Right.
Once we receive that email or that notification, we respond immediately. But the investigation part of it, I cannot tell you exactly when that would be completed, because it depends on the nature of the allegation.
Okay.
You can also call the department as well. 485 I just
It's
lost the
okay.
number there.
We can get it back at the
7211.
end.
Lost the number there.
You have a lot of work to do. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yes.
Oh,
But you can call the department and make your complaint as well.
is it the same department that police can make complaints against other police officers? Is it the same route? If one police officer has a grievance with another police officer, let's say something happens within, at work, is that the same place they go, or this is just for the public?
No, this is for the public.
Okay,
there's a different avenue. So you can call us at 485-6697. That's one of our numbers. You can call and make your complaints.
Okay.
Some of the responses that are coming in on Facebook are alluding to too much corruption. Somebody is asking, so what about justice for Mr. John? I am not too particularly sure how this is coming into public relations and complaints by the RSVGPF. Somebody else says that people don't trust you at all. Everything needs a reshuffling from training to complaints to authority. Imagine young boys, whether or not they are in police, talking to elders with no respect. Somebody else says you're there to protect and serve, and not to terrorize and instill fear. You want to respond to that one?
Well, my response would be, as a police force, we are not terrorizing our citizens. We are protecting and serving them. First and foremost, we are serving our citizens. As I said earlier, sometimes there are confrontation between the police and the public. The police have the legal authority to use force
under what conditions?
In executing their duties. You would use the force that is commensurate, or that is adequate at the time, based on the situation that you're dealing with. So if let's say if you're trying to arrest someone or a group of persons who are very aggressive to the police, then you have to use force to subdue them, to get them under control. The law gives the police that authority so to do.
Where do you draw a line between excessive force and abuse?
There's a very thin line between excessive force and abuse. Now, police officers, we are not trained to abuse persons. We are trained to respect and treat everyone as a human being, just like how we'd want to be treated. But I would say this: in every organization, and sadly, this is the case. There are persons who would go outside of the rules and the norms of the organization and do things, that can bring that organization into repute. The police force is no exception. No exception. Mine said, in every organization. And we do not want that to happen. But regrettably, it happens
Already happening.
at times. But what I can tell you is that the commissioner has zero tolerance for those matters, and whenever they happen, we deal with them.
But is that zero tolerance translated to the public? Does the public feel, or is the public confident that the commissioner of police has zero tolerance for those things? I remember one time there was a video that was circulating social media of, I think it was on the Leeward side. I can't remember exactly when, but I think in that video, subject to correction, a young man appeared to be hauled onto a vehicle, and subsequent to that, an officer trying to calm down the situation. I don't know if you remember it. He fired a few shots into the air. And when we see things like that, when people see things like that and they don't hear what happens after, that is not very reassuring.
Yeah. Well, Crystal, sometimes as human beings, and police officers are human beings, you can be a bit too exuberant in executing your duty, and you do things that you're not trained to do. So when these things happen, what we do is that we retrain the police officers. We hold convene sessions for them, so that they can receive the correct training, so that they will not repeat that behavior.
What if it's something that's a bit more deep rooted than that? That might take some time retraining.
Yeah.
What if it's that person's personality, or they have some sort of problems?
Well, retraining doesn't just involve policing, but it also involves counseling as well. Counseling sessions, so that if that police officer is being affected by a certain situation, then we seek to bring help to that police officer
While they're still on duty.
Yes, because they would not be on suspension, because there would be no reason at that time to suspend them. But we try our best to ensure that their welfare are looked after as well, because police officers are human beings too. We come from the society. Everything that is out there in the society, is all around us, and the police comes from there. So we just have to manage all of those things.
All right. Let me play a voice note here that's coming from a listener.
Crystal, I have a serious question. I can't type all of it because it's going to take too long. I'm not a typing person. I'm a speaking person. Now, this is the right question, please. I have a case been going on for 2 years. The case had been settled since last year. This guy was supposed to recompensate me a good bit of money by the end of December, which the judge ordered. The judge ordered him to pay the money by the end of December. If he does not pay, he has to do 33 months in jail. This is a serious situation. This guy almost killed me and everything like that, attacked me with an axe and a hammer. And the warrant has been written up for so long, since December, and this guy is still out here walking around free. They tell me that the warrant is written up at the courthouse, but it hasn't been mailed over to the jailhouse, to the police station yet. Ain't this crazy? It's been so long. This is February, about to be March, and these people here is playing around with people's life. This guy is still walking around with hammers and stuff in front of me like he's some kind of bad man boasting. I went to the station a couple of times and made report, and these people here is still not coming to arrest this guy. This guy's supposed to be arrested since December the 1st. Where is the justice? What am I supposed to do? Watching this guy who almost killed me, walking around, supposed to recompensate me, just laughing in my face. I went to the oh, please ask this guy why do it take so long for them to mail out warrants from right there to the courthouse to the station? Why can't they walk it over a piece of paper? Why can't it be in the system that they could just type it up and say, well, is a warrant out for this guy right here, and it goes into everybody's computer on the desk, and then the warrant goes out and they come and arrest this guy? Why do it have to be mailing out in these days, 2020? Can you ask this guy a question, please? Why do it take so long, 2 months, just for a letter to be mailed out and say this warrant is for this person? Why is it taking so long, 2 months, just for a warrant to come out for somebody to be arrested?
Want to respond to that?
Yes, Crystal, I will, and I want, first of all, I want to empathize with the caller. Sorry, with the person who send the voice note. Based on what he said, the police is not in receipt of the warrant as yet, because I can tell you, one of the things that we look forward to as police officers is to execute warrants, especially warrants for non-payment of fine, and that's what he's speaking about there. So, if you're listening, sir, I want to show you that once the warrant reaches the police, we would gladly execute that warrant so that you can get justice in the end. Until then, there's nothing that we can do.
So we still have to wait on the courthouse to send over the...
Yes.
To mail it.
Well, he said mail.
They probably just said mail.
Yes.
So what is the process of getting the warrant? Like, what is the process entail? As in, like,
well, the court issues the warrant, right? Against the defendant, right? And the warrant is transferred to the police, right? It can be sent by mail as well, or it can be hand carried, so to speak.
Okay, right.
But until we receive that warrant, then we can act on it.
Right. Now the reason why I asked, why does it take so long?
Well, that's a question I cannot answer.
That's courthouse.
So it's courthouse. Okay.
Right. Because remember, they say it does not come over to the police.
Right.
Once, because they like to get these warrants. That's what you just said, right?
Yes,
so once they get them, they go and execute their duties. Somebody's asking how many police have been charged compared to how many have been reported for abuse.
Right now, I don't have any stats on that. I'm talking the police officers who have been numbers that have been charged.
Mm-hmm.
I can, when I get back to the office, I can check it out and get back to you on it.
All right.
Yes.
My second, the time is 11 minutes on to 10 o'clock, right? So if you're just joining us, we're talking with ASP Simmons of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. He is the head of the Public Relations and Complaints Department within the force. My second to last question, I got to make it really quick because we're almost out of time. Press conferences, how often do you have them?
Okay. Well, we have press conferences from time to time. There isn't a set schedule for press conferences. If the Commission Police wishes to have a press conference, then we do. If the department as well wishes to do that, we go ahead. But right now we are going to some restructuring. There's some new programs that we will be bringing on stream later on in the year, in terms of live interaction with the members of the public and the media as well. So those are things that you can look forward to, and you will see us doing as we progress.
Okay. I think regular press conferences would help in terms of public relations and getting the questions from the public going forward.
Yes.
Let's cross our fingers and hope. When you say changes, you mean police reform?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Internally. Yes.
Internally.
Yes. The way how we do things, we have new initiatives that we're going to bring on board. So you'll see them.
Okay.
When we
Okay.
roll out. Yes.
Okay, that's nice. My last question, right? The most recent case that the public learned of, CJ Weeks. Are you able to comment on that matter?
No, I can't comment on that matter at this time, because that matter is on investigations.
Mm-hmm.
So not in a position to comment.
Okay. So we'd wait until everything finalizes, then you're gonna share the results with the public.
Certainly.
Because the public they've become very invested in that case.
Certainly.
Yeah. Quite an unfortunate situation.
But Crystal, before we wrap up, I want to say that by and large, the Royal Simmons and Grange Police Force is a noble organization. Our police officers, they are hardworking. The majority, 99.99%, loyal, law-abiding, put service above self. They go above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that our citizens are safe. When persons are sleeping, our police officers are out there.
Hopefully not sleeping too.
Well, if they are doing other things, we are out there still, to ensure that they are not doing stuff that are illegal and unlawful. So, we love the public. We love our country. We love what we do. The police force is the bastion of democracy and security in Simmons and Grenadines. It is one of the oldest and largest departments within St. Vincent and the Grenadines, within the public service. We have a very good history as a police force. And as we move forward, we want to build on that history. We want to build on that image that we have managed to develop over the years. And I'm making this appeal on behalf of the Commissioner of Police and every member of the police force to the public. Please join us, join the police. We need your help. We need your assistance. We need your cooperation in order for us to make Simmons and Grenadines a safer place. We want to live in peace and safety, in harmony. So, as we extend our hand to you, grab it and let us walk together, because together we are stronger.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Somebody was saying that you guys need to work on your vehicles. They're saying, why you all never have vehicle? And when we call, when persons call for help, you never have a vehicle. And we see you driving around in vehicles all day. Maybe it's a different station. Call on the wrong station.
Well, first of all, Crystal, no police officer should tell a member of the public who called for assistance that they cannot respond because there is no vehicle. Now, there's not a police transport at every station. However, there are vehicles within the different policing district. All they need to do is to contact the police station where the vehicle is, and I'm certain that they would respond. They would assist. But that's frankly, it's a lame excuse to give to the public. You can say, "Mom, sir, we'll be there shortly."
Or as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Do not say that we can respond because there is no police transport.
Even though that's the truth.
That is, there may not be police transport there at the time. But you should not say we can respond because there's police transport. As a matter of fact, you can get there, by other means. You may not get there as quickly as you should, but that should not be the main excuse.
Okay.
You can take a van and get there as well, and based on the proximity.
Who's paying for that transport?
You can walk. Based on the proximity, you can walk.
Right, but who's paying? If the officer takes a bus, who's paying for that?
Well, first of all, if they take a bus and they have to use their monies, they can make a claim.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they can do that. But I can tell you, and this is another good thing about the public. They're very generous in certain things. If a police officer is going on duty, whether in uniform or not, especially in uniform, I can tell you, the van driver or the conductor, they, in most cases, they will not charge the police officer. They will not take a bus fare from him.
They should, though.
In uniform.
They should charge the officer.
Well, that's how they make their money.
Yeah.
But I think the state as their civic duty, in assisting the police, in walking along with the police.
Maybe.
But the police, if they pay the fare out of their pocket, they can make a claim to the commissioner for compensation. They can.
All right. Okay, interesting.
Can do that.
At this time, we have to wrap things up. We're 40 minutes in, but we had to get some things out. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come and speak to us and share a bit on public relations and complaints. And hopefully, sooner than later, they can be very separate. Hopefully, in the long run, the trust can be restored between civilians and police officers. But it's going to take a lot of work.
Yes, it will take a lot of work,
especially from the police
on both sides.
Oh yeah.
We have already started to on that. So we are hoping that as we move forward, the police and the public would be like Siamese twin.
Okay. Attached at least something.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and it was a pleasure being here. Thank you to you and BJ Lano.
All right, no problem.
Thanks to the listening audience as well.
All right.